Might as well record this. As you can probably see, I have accidentally started a raid. I've closed off the villagers, so they should be safe. It's still just why. Oh my god. Welcome to episode 8 of the Let's Play series. Hey, this is progressing pretty well, don't you think? As you can see, I have Hero of Village. I don't, how do my buttons work? As you can see, I have Hero of the Village now, which means I did manage to defeat that raid. And as a result, we have where the freak are the buttons? As a result, we have a whole bunch more mending books because these guys were kind enough to offer me discounts. Not much, but hey, an emerald is an emerald. I didn't show this on camera, or at least I didn't talk about it. But hey, we've got some lanterns here for lighting now, which I think looks nice. And I also landscaped the sides a bit. I'm not totally stoked on how I've done that. That will need some more work, but I am not an expert at terraforming. So I'm doing my best. So I think something that I want to do this episode is get a honey farm going. There's a handful of bees nests around here, though I don't know that any of them have bees anymore. And I think that we can take advantage of that to get a honey farm going because I will need those eventually. It might also be useful to find a slime chunk or 2 or 3 and make a slime farm, but I think that will be a future endeavor. So that is part of the plan for today. I think I also want to finally start doing some more texturing on this road and maybe finish filling in the dirt and grass over there and maybe build a couple little huts. I don't know, I have some lofty goals. We'll see how much we actually get done. I have finally managed to get Silk Touch on a shovel. So I think we'll go ahead and put mending on this. And we'll call this HR Shovin' Stuff. So for the bee farm, there was a nest here, and there was also one over at this other tree, but unfortunately these bees have all flown off somewhere, so that's okay. We can go find some more with bees, but I think I want to build the farm over here, and I was looking at the layout. I think this area here, where there's kind of this weird crossroads, I could dig out some of the hill right there, and then we could make that our apiary, I believe is the term. I do want to use some glass, but I think I'll use wood for the bottom parts of it. So let me go sleep since it's apparently becoming night. Build that up, and then we can worry about actually getting the bees. I only need 2. That's all it takes. You gotta start with 2. All right, I'm over here at the village in the designated spot. I have some oak. I have some glass. Hopefully that's enough. Let's do it. right, hey, it's done. I'm trying an experiment with this roof. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it works. I think the birch worked out okay there. So you'll come around here, and I will probably do something else with the inside of this roof. I think from the inside it doesn't need to be quite that big. And then I just have some lanterns that we can use to hang down. We'll line this with the nests. Leave a little bit of room behind them for some future redstone automation. And hey, a bee farm. You know, except for the bees, which I still have to go find. The ceiling is done. I kind of goofed by making this not an odd spacing, so these can't be centered, but whatever, man. You can't win them all. We'll just put that one there. Now they're intentionally asymmetrical. How about that? So an interesting thing has happened. There was once one skelly horse. Then, despite being broad daylight, it got hit by lightning. And now there are many. So I guess I have a bunch of skelly horses now. I don't really know what I'm going to do with them. Look, I'm one of you. Well, you don't like that? In my many failed attempts at finding dripstone, I do remember that this way, off to the west, west? West. Forgot how to read the F3 screen. There were several beehives, which would suggest that there are still some bees that haven't abandoned their hives because I don't usually load these chunks. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head out this way and look for bees, wait for night so they go back inside, and then silk touch them. I did find some bees. There's another one in that nest, I think. I think the ability to see that on F3, however, is part of a mod. So I can't tell for sure. However, there are at least 2 bees here. I tried to get them to go inside, but they are not feeling cooperative at the moment. So we can wait for nightfall, and then I'll snag this best. What the heck is a bee best? A knee best. It's obviously a knee best. And then we can grab this bee's nest and have at least one that we can take back with. Oh, there. Oh. Yes. All right, so I am here in my creative testing world, which is filled with a green screen and a failed experiment. It's very useful, and I am trying to see if I can remember how this works. So I think you do like a dispenser. This doesn't even matter really. That would observe that and give me, I'll put that down with flowers and a bee. This bee can now fly off and not be helpful. This will send out a redstone signal, I think, when something happens. No. I would want a comparator, I think, to tell me how much signal we're getting. You see these flowers? Rub the flowers, go home. I just want to see what the redstone signal is like. That's all. So, honey level is now 3. 1, 2, 3, it stops. So it goes up to 5. If I then trigger with a button, it shoots a bottle out. So that's not helpful. So for honey, I'm guessing then it needs to be honey level 5, not 3. Yeah, so now you're honey level 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing. So this is the maximum signal level right there. If I hit this, it goes back in the dispenser? I have finished building up the bee farm. Currently there's just these guys out, Big Bee and Baby Bee. But there's another one there, another one there. There's probably 3 more in another one of these. They are just feeling shy right now. I've populated it with a bunch of flowers. There we go. So now all we have to do is breed them up until we have enough. We've got dispensers with buttons underneath them. I'm going to fill these with glass bottles to the best of my ability to do so. That way we can get a bunch of honey. And eventually, after I look up what I need to do for some redstoning, if assuming I have the room, I might have to scoot these forward. We'll see. We can automate that a little bit more so that we can get honey and or honeycomb faster. And ideally, I would fill this all the way out. Might have to replace the glass there so that it's not ugly from the outside. But that's okay. This is now our honey farm. I just need to go get a bunch of glass to craft a bunch of bottles. So I have been messing around in creative here a little bit. And there's a couple designs that work. This one, I can't really say I came up with it. I figured it out on my own, but this is basically the regular bee farm design. The idea here is that when this hits signal strength 5, it comes up, it triggers this. I'm using a repeater there. I've seen other designs that just use a second comparator so that you don't have to do that. I don't know that there's any big difference either way. The downside of this is you need to fill this up, or at least there needs to be at least 2 bottles in each. Otherwise, what happens is it will shoot, it's for some reason the dispenser picks it back up, as we discovered in my earlier experiments. So that's really the only way to go about getting honey bottles reliably. There's also this design, which I found online, and this one works quite well for honeycomb. It's far simpler, so that could probably work in our current setup. The idea here is that every time the bee nest updates, this observer sends a signal, just like that, which triggers these shears. And wow, that was just a whole bunch of triggers. And even if it's not full, the shears just don't do anything. So the shears stay in there, we get honeycomb. That is a great compact design that would work in the current building. But if I want to also be able to do honey, you really do need this big setup. Unfortunately, that means that it does not work in the current building, and that is where this thing that you have probably heard buzzing behind me comes in. As you can see, it is similar to what's already there, just a whole lot bigger in the back. I also made it a little bit taller. That does accommodate the redstone, but mostly that was just to balance out the roof, because I thought that the roof that we had looked a little bulky compared to the bottom. I do think this is a good design. This is a little odd. That's not really how doors are built, but that's okay. The problem here is I just need way more glass bottles, which is annoying. Hello there, bees. And I would have to rebuild this structure to make it bigger so that everything would fit. All right, I am back on the normal world. This looks kind of like an middle-aged dude who has a weird balding pattern, but we are making progress. And now it's time to build the redstone. And that's basically the farm. I built this. Nope, that's not basically the farm. These go there. So now all we do is place bees nests here. When the signal strength hits 5, it triggers this. Once these are all filled completely with glass bottles, then it will go here and we'll put a chest down there. Now we can cover it all up. We can put the roof on. And once we let the bees out, they're not going to get stuck. The updated build is done. I have not done anything with the front face here like I did in creative, but let's fly around it a little bit so you can see. The torches up there are not meant to stay. So everywhere else has a little bit of texture. I do think that it could stand to have more work done to it, but that's something we can work on as time goes on. The last thing to do here is to actually put the bees nests in. For now, I am lacking in bottles, so this is about all we have. It's not really going to operate at proper efficiency until we figure that out, but that's okay. After this, I will go on a bit of a sand grind and we'll get some more glass bottles. And there we go. These are meant to be temporary until I get 3 more bees nests. That is now a fully functional, fully automated honey farm. And I can also put shears in there to turn it into a honeycomb farm. Okay, we now have an absolute ton of sand. It actually only took like 10 minutes. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. But my inventory is basically filled, which is amazing. And now we get to see why I wanted to construct this so badly. Oh, you can't even do that in a blast furnace. Well, I'm gonna make some more ferni. And then the true power of the lava farm will be unlocked. Making my way back from smelting a lot of glass, we now have just a ton of bottles. This is not going to be enough to fill all the dispensers in there, but that's okay. I do think I want to leave some as honeycomb for now. I'll probably leave these 2 middle ones honeycomb, and then everything else will be honey. And look at that. That's still quite productive. What this is enough for us to at least do all of these as half stacks, which is plenty for now. And now I want to see just how this looks. If I alternate these, is that weird? I think that's okay. It is now fully set up. So as you can see, I think this is okay. It gives it a little bit of variation. The one thing is I still need to finish getting glass for that one, and I need to make some shears to put in here for that guy. And then this will be all set. I believe this is ready, so it'll be honey, 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 honeycomb, honeycomb, honey, honey, honey? Wait. 3 honeycomb, 2 honey? Maybe we'll just leave these 2 honeycomb. Honey, honey, honey. I gotta figure this out. Honey definitely takes a lot longer to gather than honeycomb, so I don't necessarily need as much honeycomb. But it also depends on what I'm doing. So this farm is adjustable as my needs grow. But I do need to breed a lot more bees. We need 9 more bees. While I have some glass being made in the farm, I figure I might as well take the time to finish filling this in. I don't think I have enough block. And once that's done, this will all be fully flattened, which will be exciting. And then maybe we can move on to texturing this a little bit, which I keep talking about doing and then keep not doing. I know it's been a little bit slow so far. So for those of you that have been bearing with me or just plain old enjoying it, you know, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Progress is progress, and we are now starting to make some big strides. We have a lava farm, we have a honey and honeycomb farm. We have a chicken farm that has been very productive. So we're making good time. All that's left now is to start actually building up the town, which shouldn't be that complicated now that we have the tools to do it. And with that, we have successfully terraformed this entire area. Finally. Let's get rid of the grass and flowers and stuff now, and then we can start to build it back up. And that is this entire area, except for over there, don't worry about it. Free of grass and flowers. You know, let's really take a look at it now. I think it's a lot easier to see the shape. So what we'll probably end up doing is carve out this hill a little bit. Carve out that hill somewhat maybe, and then this, and then get rid of that, I think. And then this is just all sort of the main drag. And we can worry about getting the roads in there, the road over there, the road out that way. Yeah. I think this is working out pretty well. Hello, Enderman. Goodbye, Enderman. Hello, Enderman. I think for the last little bit here, now that all of this is cleared, and I'm still waiting on some more glass, let's finish what we started. So I got a pick. I'm just gonna, I don't know, poke some random holes here and there. Probably more andesite in the middle is my thought. These are the spots where we are more likely to have had more people traveling. And so therefore it would be a little bit more worn. And the andesite kind of gives that worn look. And I think already it's better. So I'll just keep doing this for a little bit until I come up with something that I think looks nice. And then we'll start laying some gravel down and so on and so forth. It's still a little straight, but I think this will make more sense once we start getting buildings in here, side roads, etc. So I am going to leave that alone for now. I'm pretty happy with that overall. And I think that is going to be where I wrap up this episode. We managed to get a honey farm built twice because I didn't plan ahead very well. Our lava farm is going full swing and making glass so that I can finish that out, and we textured this road. And then I think we can finally start building out some more of this, but I do want some feedback from you for that. I pointed at my screen with my real finger as if that was going to help. Last episode, I asked for feedback on where I should place my house, somewhere there or there. Would love to hear from you if you haven't already commented about that. And I think it might be time to start building some places for the villagers to live. So with all that being said, if you did enjoy today's episode, please make sure to slap that like button, as the YouTubers say, and hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!